Hi, everybody. Welcome to AITA Pod. I'm Danny Vega, joined by the inimitable hat-wearing Shannon.
Oh, that's me. I missed
What
it.
were you going to say?
I was just going to repeat my name. Actually, I got made fun of for my hat the other day.
Oh, really?
I was wearing an Eagles hat, and I think it's a little too big for me. I got called out on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw something with this.
I was like, is it because it's the Eagles or because it's really large on my head?
Yeah.
She's like, I don't give a fuck about sports. That hat is too big on your head.
I kind of like that on your head.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe it was like because my hair was back. Maybe I need to style it different or something. But I was like, yeah, it's a little too big. This is my Pop-Ups hat, though.
Pop.
Pop. I'm a hat girl.
That's some white people shit. Sometimes I actually do feel Hispanic when I hear some shit like that.
What do you say, abuelo?
Abel.
Oh, is that like
Short and
end?
abuelo, yeah.
Okay.
Papa. But
Oh, Papa. I have a Papa too.
we don't do no pop.
Yep,
That
pop.
That shit's so white.
It is pretty white. Speaking of, my Nana passed away.
Yeah. I'm
Last
sorry.
week.
Yeah.
R.I.P. It was so sad. Well, I think I talked about like maybe briefly on the Patreon because she was like on hospice. We thought she was maybe going to get better. I think my dad was just kind of wishful thinking. It was his mom. But I went back to New Jersey for a week and it was so nice. We had the best time like celebrating her. It was so emotional though.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go, like the way she went was like everyone's dream, like in your home with your husband that you've known since third grade.
No.
Yeah.
And he's still
alive. I'm so heartbroken for him. He's devastated.
And so she was what?
So she was about to be 95 in February.
Oh God.
And then he is 96.
Wow.
So, and he's in really good health.
No joke.
She had dementia, so she was like declining, and she's also just really small and like just much more weak. But he got like tested, and his heart is like super strong, and
Wow.
so we're he'll probably be around for a few more years, but he's totally ready to go too. And I don't know, it just my heart just aches for him so much. But yeah, she lived a really good long life. It just had me really reflecting on just like my childhood and just how much I miss it. Like, does your heart ever ache for like the past?
No, not really.
It doesn't.
No, my heart aches for the future.
You're like, get me out of here. Yeah, I don't know. I just had such a good childhood, not to be like braggy or anything, but just kind of, I don't know. Like obviously having an amazing childhood is like such a privilege and such an amazing thing. But sometimes I'm like, my adult life is just not as good as childhood is. So it like makes me sad. And I just miss it so much.
Huh. Okay. Well, I love the nostalgia factor. I guess I'm just trying to, I guess I'm feeling reflective because I'm like, why don't I care about the past really?
Really?
I guess I view it as something that needed to be processed, but not something that I like.
Did you not have a good childhood?
I guess I wouldn't say that it was bad or anything. I just don't really care about it. I don't know. I think I do. You know what I do? Okay, I do have an aspect of this, but it's not what you're saying at all.
Okay.
I'll be like, whatever happened to that one motherfucker? And I'll start Googling and I'll be like, what is he doing now? And there's some motherfuckers I can't find online.
Oh yeah, some of them are not on there. And a lot of times I'm like, did they die?
I know. I always assume, I'm like, they died. Clearly they died.
If they don't have social media.
Right.
They don't exist.
But I brought one up actually, and somebody knew her, and she's like, "Yeah, she's fine. She's just not online." And I was like, "Are you sure she's not dead?"
I know. I'm a little
she's
worried.
perfectly alive.
Is she like on the street somewhere?
She could be on the street. No, she has a boring job. She doesn't post. Okay,
Yeah.
she might be dead. I don't know.
I definitely go through rabbit holes of looking at people I grew up with for sure, and just like, oof, there are some toughies out there looking at what they're doing now.
Uh-oh. Speaking of toughies, guys, listen, I want to let you know I do read your Spotify comments, and I am sorry that the timestamps are wrong. And I'm sorry that the ads are weird. I am not sorry, however, that the fucking banter is too long. That's why the timestamps are there. Okay, because somebody, you know what somebody wrote? They wrote, do you realize that when you guys talk before the episode, it's like I'm sitting there listening to a conversation I can't be part of?
That's what a podcast is.
Thank you. Thank you. That's the whole thing. It doesn't change when we're talking about the situation. Ugh. So anyway, guys, I do want to say I am sorry that the timestamps are wrong. I am. I don't control the ads. I try my best to put the timestamps in the right spot, but unfortunately, the ads are put in by the like ad service thingy. And so I'm trying, but there's just nothing I can really do. But I can tell you this, sorry to upsell it, but on Patreon, the timestamps are right. They are. And there's no ads. So you can actually go right to the situation and not listen to our conversation. Oh, Danny Googles people. I'm so fucking bored. Anyway.
Wait, so how off are the timestamps? Is it by a lot?
I don't know. It could be off. Like I said, I don't know how many ads they put in. So I guess if they put in like a minute worth of ads, then it's a minute off. So there's really nothing I can do. I'm sorry. And like people will be like, not 3 iPhone ads. And I'm like, I don't pick the ads. I have no exposure.
No. Chumba Casino.
What is that? A game?
No, I think it's like some casino around here.
Chumba Casino.
Oh my God, it's all the time. It's so annoying. I think maybe probably only LA people get it or SoCal people.
Chumba Casino.
Yes.
That's very funny.
I was only playing for fun, but winning was a dream come true. I guess you don't listen to the podcast.
Well, I edit it and I'm physically here, so I've already listened to it twice. I guess a third time does seem like a bit much.
True.
So I do have a story. I went to Mammoth, the snowboard mountain by LA, 5-hour drive.
By LA.
Yeah.
Not quite.
All right. Well, the closest one to me.
Yeah, it's the best one. That's
when you're bored
by.
when you're bored in 5 hours is nothing.
You know, wake up at 2 a.m. man. I need a snowbird to join me.
Yeah, bro. It's so sick. So anyway, we go and I brought my friend Chet. We are like in a music thing together. So
Horse 24.
Horse 24. It's our little band. And
there's a colon in between horse and 24. It's a time.
It's a time. Wow, you know the lore.
I sure do.
And so anyway, we go, and Chet's not snowboarding because he's like 6'11" or whatever. He's always claiming.
Oh, there's a height requirement on boarding.
That's what he says. He's like, oh, I can't. A lot of Chet he'll be like, oh, I can't run. I'm too tall. I'm like, okay, I guess. I don't know.
I guess there's some downsides.
I'll take your word.
Wait, you can't snowboard if you're tall? Is it like the constant falling and getting back up?
I don't know. Yeah, he didn't want to do it. He said it's hard on his knees or some shit. I forgot what he said.
Makes sense.
But anyway, we're having a good time. Chet was grinding. The guy has amazing work ethic. So he was just working all day in the room. I came back, after hitting the hill. And I was like, let's hit the hot tub. So
we got to.
We go to the hot tub, and this is like it's called the Mammoth Mountain Inn, and it's like at the base of the slope. So it's like pretty cool to stay there.
Après ski.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Well, it is après ski, but it's like
it's not a bar.
No, it's an inn. It's a hotel. So you get to stay there. So you don't have to, you don't have to go drive or anything.
I was thinking you meant like the downstairs of the inn, like restaurant bar.
Yeah, there is a little bar and a restaurant and everything.
So après ski.
Après ski. There we go. I should have just given it to you. I made it too complicated. So we hit the hot tub, a little hot tub après, and we're in there. We're vibing out. And then all of a sudden Chet goes, and I'm like, what, dude? And he's like, I stepped on something. And I was like, okay, Chet, you're so dramatic.
Yeah.
And so then, and it's cold out, obviously. It's like 30 degrees out. It's dark. It's night. And so then I'm like trying to like walk back to the room, and Chet is taking so long. And I'm like, can we just freaking go, dude?
To
like
get
I'm freezing.
Out of the tub?
Yeah, and I didn't want to just leave him like there. He's like taking forever to put on his shoes, and I was like, oh my God, like let's go.
Let's freaking go.
So finally catches up, and he's like, no, my foot's actually really messed up. And I was like, okay, Chet. And so then we get to the room, and I was like, oh, your foot is really messed up. I'm the asshole.
Oh, really? Was it bleeding?
It was bleeding, and it was a pretty nasty looking cut. Like it was basically looked like his whole, actually I learned this, great toe. We call it a big toe, but
great toe.
Apparently that's the medical term.
Oh, okay.
Had this gash running across it. It looked like he stepped on glass or something.
Oh.
So right away I called the front desk, And I'm like, hey,
Karen's here. Gotta activate her sometimes.
So I got to give major props. The manager or whatever came, brought us first aid, was super apologetic. She's like, keep in touch. Like, let me know. I'll follow up with you guys. And Chet was like, I want to go to the hospital. And I was like, I don't really think that's necessary. But he was like, I'm worried about it. And I was like, look, man, whatever you want to do, I'll do. Let's go. So we go to the hospital.
Really?
To be fair, the Mammoth Hospital was super nice. There was 0 people there. There was like a guy there at one point.
Perfect.
And I was honestly, it was a good, as I actually forgot to upload the bonus. So I was like, I need to do this right now.
You got some work done.
Yeah, I got some work done. Anyway, it was no big deal. But actually the doctor said it's good that you came in because I guess hot tubs could be like cesspools, even though there's chlorine.
Makes sense.
So anyway, then I'm starting to get into litigator mode. I'm like, oh, you had glass in your hot tub, which injured my friend. Oh no, Mammoth Mountain Inn, it's about to go down. So go to the front desk, and the manager was like, she was super sweet. She was the one who brought us the first aid stuff, but she's like approximately 25. And she's like, yeah, we're really sorry about it. And I was like, yeah, I'm really sorry it happened too. And she's like, unfortunately, it's just one of those things where like, it's just an unfortunate event. Someone here recently, their car was totaled by a bear. And I was like, go on.
Yeah.
And I guess the bear wants food. And then it just literally like rips the doors off the fucking thing. And
my God.
I guess it still drove, but it looked like it was broken.
So she was relating this incident to that. Okay.
And then her other example was like, yeah, sometimes people slip and fall and get injured. Like that's just, and I was like, okay.
In this scenario, a bear was drinking a beer in the.
Yeah, I know. Nice. Yeah. The bear actually carried the windshield from the car into the hot tub. And I was like, I don't really think those situations are exactly like this one. And, but I was like, and she was like a young girl. I was like, I'm not going to go. I was like, who's your manager? And she goes, oh, well, he'll be here tomorrow. So I was like, okay, we'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah.
So then I'm like ruminating on this, like literally like.
Can't sleep.
Almost. It was almost that bad. Like I started Googling. I'm like, glass in a hot tub. I feel like this is a liability issue.
Well, did they have a sign that said no glass in the hot tub?
They did.
And I feel like that doesn't make them liable, right?
I mean, the way I saw it was I only found one case online. There was like a weird lawyer forum, and it was a young man, like a kid, somebody's kid had hurt themselves on quote metal or glass in a pool, in a big pool. Okay. And the lawyer said, there's no way the hotel under Texas law. It was Texas, which I was like, well, Texas law is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, under Texas law, I don't think this lawsuit would have any merit.
Okay.
So I was like, not great. But I was like, I don't think I have to go to legal town here necessarily because I feel like the mere threat.
I guess the snow was really not good there.
What do you mean?
You had a lot of time on your hands.
Yeah, no. Well, only 20% of the mountain was open. So it was a bummer. I was sad. So anyway, I was ruminating on the mountain too. That was another sign where I was like, God, this is bad when I'm just sitting here like figuring out what I'm going to say to this manager. So anyway, and then like Chet is very dramatic and funny. So like I basically like was like, Chet, tell the man. So we got the meeting. I was like, Chet, tell the man what happened. The story goes on for like 15 minutes. It's so long. And then like I give a long spiel and the guy's like, yeah. Like it's all good. Like, yeah, we'll give you guys 2 nights free. And it was just funny because like there was no back and forth. Like I literally think this could have been a 3-minute conversation.
You didn't need to tell the whole story.
The whole story. This poor guy. And then Chet goes, yeah, we're here working on our music. Horse 24, check us out. And I'm like, Chet, don't tell the man about our band. What are you doing?
Our band.
I laughed the whole trip about him doing the plug at the end. I was like, Chet, that was the most Chet thing you've ever done. I love you, bro.
Always plugging, always promoting. Got to.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm going back there. I'm excited to go back there.
Yeah, now you got 2 free nights. You got to bring Chet though. But,
well, I was like, Chad, this is wasted. Cause like the rooms aren't super big. It's a it's a snowboarding hotel. Ski-boarding. I said it.
Yeah.
You know, you're not there to chill. So I was like, Chad, how about you and I will go to a cabin in the woods where we can get more space rather than being a cramped like snow.
Oh, to do creative stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're just taking the Mammoth Hotel? You're getting the 2-night
I also paid for the whole thing, and I'm still giving him.
He paid for it because he got a huge gash in his toe.
I'm still taking him to another place.
Oh, okay,
Chad.
You're gonna pay for the other cabin.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yes, of course, of course.
All right, well that works.
Okay, I don't know what the fuck this talking point is. Titan submersible.
Your favorite topic. Did you not see? They found some like remains.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know anything other than that. But
that's one of your talking points?
Yeah, that's one of my to tell you.
It's supposed to be about am I the asshole to some degree. I don't know.
How?
That's what I'm asking you.
Well, did you hear?
No, I didn't, but thanks for updating us.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Give it a googs. Well, they found some body parts.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I saw this TikTok that was like, you know, they had us thinking that it exploded. How are you explaining these body parts that are getting found? Think about it.
I thought it imploded, and so then
so they're supposed to like essentially disappear.
Yeah, I thought they were kind of vaporized. Okay.
So now they're saying there could be a different theory out there.
Okay, that's juicy.
So I don't know.
Interesting.
Something for us to look into. I guess I should have done a little more research. I did Google it after I read a headline.
Yeah.
Actually, I watched another TikTok. That's what it was.
Wow. Okay. So basically, this talking point is you watch some TikToks.
Yeah, I was scrolling.
Look, you had a hard week. We're not going to be pushing on you to come up with good talking points.
Yeah. I've had a very bad couple weeks, folks. Let's hope this turns around.
Yeah.
I had some good luck today, though.
Yeah.
2 waiting rooms breezed right through.
Boom. We love that.
There's my good luck. The bar's really low.
Yeah. It's coming together for you.
So anyone out there, Google it. I didn't.
Okay, Google everybody.
Wait, I just saw another TikTok today that was a podcast. I don't even know what it was, but they were talking. They posed the question: how many owls would it take to? How many owls? What? How do I say this?
I don't know.
How many owls would you see in a day before you got like really worried that something bad was happening?
I think once we're hitting 2, I'm like, that's cool. But then 3, I'd be like, okay, that's a lot of owls for one day.
Yeah.
But alarming, like I'm afraid.
Yeah, like you're like, okay, something's going on.
Probably have to get up there. Probably like 9 to where I'd be like, okay, no, there's definitely a darknet. I mean, I don't know. They're not, some owl, I don't know, it kind of depends on the owl too. Some owls kind of have this energy of like, hello, I'm an owl. But some are like, I will find you. What's your answer?
Well, I guess I would kind of be like, oh wow, there's like something going on with owls here.
Wow, how profound.
It's like, I guess the owls are here. Like this is where they're migrating to.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I feel like I would just assume that. But I think you're right. Like around that number, it would kind of be like, I think before that I would be like, yeah, there's something's going on. But then I'd be like, holy shit, this is getting a little eerie.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. So I like that we're just totally ripping off this other podcast, I guess.
Yes.
But
we have our own thoughts.
Shannon's new series. I saw a TikTok. I guess I feel like there's more ominous birds, but I think just generally, and I think Alfred Hitchcock knew about this. With birds, you really gotta lay on the birds thick.
Yeah, crows.
But I mean, there's thousands. You know what I mean? Like it takes a lot of birds to get a reaction because people are like, yeah, it's a bird. It's like a bigger bug.
That's true.
It's like, get out of here.
Yeah, but owls, something about them.
I guess I feel like ravens are a little weirder to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
they're not
menacing.
dark. Owls aren't. Yeah. Vultures.
Oh no.
6 vultures, and I'm like,
no.
Let's go. Keep driving. Drive faster.
Yeah. No. And actually with vultures,
Here we go.
they're the one animal you definitely don't want to be playing dead with.
Because they'll eat you up.
Yeah.
You really like that joke. Okay. All right. Update from Shannon. Mom sharing clothes and food with neighbors.
Yes. You don't have to read it all. My grammar's usually not very good when I'm doing them. I guess I have to.
I'm just excited. This is an update from your mom?
My mom. Okay, so the episode that came out this week was the episode I was talking about when I was younger. My family.
Oh yeah,
friends,
you're weird.
we
Like
used to just all go over each other's houses and everything. And in the episode, you're like, are the adults doing this? Or I was like, no, I think just the kids. And you're like, yeah, it'd be weird if it was just like, oh, I'm going to come over and borrow an egg. Well, apparently that is what my mom used to do.
she would go get.
So she would just be like, if she didn't have something, she would just walk over to their house and like grab whatever she needed. And like she said that she would tell them later, but like that's how open we were. Like our doors were never locked. It was essentially like we just had like two homes. Basically, we all just treated it like these were our homes.
And your mom was part of this.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I don't think it was ever the opposite way. Like I don't think my dad did, and I can't really remember. It was kind of like we would actually go to their house more than they would.
So you were just stealing their shit.
Stealing their stuff. Yeah, I can't remember them coming to ours very often.
I feel like this is going to turn into the roommate that you always complain about, that we've slowly realized over time that you were the toxic roommate. Like your neighbors are going to write in and be like, yes, we could not eat because the Lewises would eat all our eggs. Dude. How many birds? I'll tell you how many birds. A single family of fucking Lewises. They're vultures.
Yeah. And then she also was saying with sharing clothes is she was like all of her college roommates used to just always do that. And she was like, we wouldn't really ever, well, because they didn't have texting then. So it would be like they told each other one time, like, yeah, you can wear it. And if they weren't there, it would just be like, yeah, you could wear it. And then, but it was always, if you wore it, you need to wash it. But so I think like sharing clothes amongst women is like a much more common thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of cute. I feel that. Like, yeah. Whereas guys, it's like, that's disgusting, bro. Don't touch me with that.
We don't do underwear.
Right. But
like,
guys are just grosser, sweatier, and whatnot.
Yeah. And like my girlfriends and I do that now. Like say one of us has an event or something, like I'll definitely hit up my friends and be like, hey, do you have like a dress that I could wear to this wedding? Because, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because like a lot of times you have to get new dresses, like depending on if you've worn the dress to a wedding and blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
And you don't want to just like be buying
like
new wedding
code.
dresses all the time.
What do you mean you can't wear the same dress to a wedding because why?
Well, if it's a whole new crowd of people, then yeah, you can wear a different wedding dress. I'm sorry, not wedding dress, a different dress.
But if one of your girlfriends is there, she's seen you in the teal classic or whatever.
If it's one girlfriend, but if it's like if it's like the same group,
friend groupish, yeah.
You want to kind of switch it up. And then with like, you know, Instagram these days, I feel like, you know, if you post it, you have to like, you know, you want to. Yeah. That's more with.
I feel like you're mocking it, but you're a willing participant.
Yes, exactly.
You posted photos that looked rather produced, ma'am.
Of course.
You were like reading the book.
Well, that was a photo shoot.
Right, that was a photo shoot. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So I feel like if you wear dresses that are like, it stands out. It's so clearly like it's got like bright flowers on it or something like that. But if you have like a black dress, like I have this one black dress that I wear to a bunch of different weddings because I'm like, no one's going to notice. And they are different groups. You kind of don't want to go to like your same two different cousins in the same family with like the same wedding dress on. So
but you're saying the black dress lets us beat this rule because you can get away with it. I think so because
it's kind of
a simple black dress.
Yeah.
Got it.
Although I think when I've worn it to like 3 different weddings, but they're with different groups.
I wear the same MF suit to every wedding.
I know. Well, that's the like luxury you guys have.
Ugh.
But then again, at the same time, I like wearing different and new clothes and stuff. Yeah. So I guess you could too, but I don't know.
I've
why
hit a
you'd
new
need
low with
to.
clothes. I started ordering shit off Amazon. Now I got like Amazon clothes.
Oh, great. What do they look like?
Just stupid, just t-shirts and shit. I'm just like, great. Now I never have to deal with this problem.
What problem?
Having to go get clothes.
Oh, I know. It's just too easy sometimes.
I know. You know what I actually stocked up on is pajama pants. I love that shit.
I need to get new pajama pants.
I'll wear that
My
shit.
clothes at home are, oof.
It was funny. So I got this haircut, which Shannon did compliment. Yeah. And it's like with a stylist. And he kept saying like, he's like, yeah, you know, this would be great for like getting, you know, like if you don't really want to do your hair, this will still look good. But if you want to do it, it'll still work. But like, yeah, most of the time, you know, you're going to go out and, you know, you're just not going to have to really do anything and you'll look good. And I was like, oh, bro, like I really only have two modes. I'm either putting it on and I care, or it's like a wreck. Like I'm wearing like Hokas, which basically are Crocs, and sweatpants and a shirt.
And the Hokas are always bright colors, so they like never match anything.
No matching. Socks don't match. You know, like
your socks don't match.
Dirty, smelly. Like I don't care. What? I'm not gonna put myself together to go to the gym. You know.
Oh yeah. You don't need to. Not at the gym.
Yeah, so it didn't like apply. I was like, no, I just need my hair to look good when I need it to look good. That's it. But it got so long that it never looked good. So I got it cut.
Did you put gel in it today?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
No, he was right. I liked his little thing.
Yeah, it looks good.
He was like, yeah.
And it's like the gel is a little more natural. Like I feel like I've seen you gel it where then it's like kind of crunchy.
That's
and
what
like
he
down
said.
to your head.
He was
and
a
it looks
crunch
kinda
hater.
Like wet.
Yeah.
It looks better like this.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wow. God, I'm gonna have to text him right now. He's
Oh,
like,
are you
"Text
guys on
me."
a texting
He's
level?
like, text me, use my own booking thing. And I was like, hell yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was legit. It was legit. It was like $1 million, but hey, worth it if I got a compliment.
Exactly.
Anyway, enough about how ugly I am. Guys, we got a juicy app. Please rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. Timestamps in the description podcast. You love it. You know it. Let's do this thing. We've got an epic middle here. This is an epic middle that I'm going to read. AITA for accusing my daughter's boyfriend of stealing the turkey.
It's a long one, folks.
Sit down. I think Sarah sent it to me.
It's a good one.
And look, you might want to skip it if you're one of these people who's always fucking complaining. But don't skip this.
No.
Here is Shannon.
AITA for crossing my boyfriend's boundaries. I, 30F, have been dating this guy, Anthony, 34M, for 3 months, and this past week, he's been very sick. My dad is also sick with the flu. My dad asked me to grab soup and medicine today, and I thought it was a brilliant idea to do the same for Anthony. I texted Anthony that I'd drop off a care package. I told him that he didn't need to come out of the house and I'd just leave it on the porch. He said he was out at the moment and told me not to come by. I said, oh, it's fine. I was just already running out errands, and so I can have it over in 20 minutes. I dropped off the package and left. I sent him a picture of it on his porch, and I didn't linger or anything. 2 minutes tops. He doesn't text me for hours, and it doesn't really bother me since I know he's really sick and out of it. But then I realized I might have crossed his boundary. I text him to apologize, saying how a no was a no, and I completely ignored his no. He responds with,
I really appreciate the gesture, but don't ever show up to my house like that or say you're coming over. I was really caught off guard. It's just a boundary thing for me.
I was really caught off guard. It's just a boundary thing for me. Yeah, I fucked up. I apologize, and obviously I will never do that again. I just feel awful. I misread the situation and pushed what I wanted, which was to take care of him while he was sick, instead of listening to what he wanted. I am such an asshole. I was just really giddy today. Acts of service is kind of my thing, and I wanted to show him I care. But again, when someone is sick, they might be exhausted and don't want to be coddled. I don't know how I'm going to recover from this. It's a respect thing, and I disrespected him by crossing this boundary. I suggested maybe we're too different and that we should maybe see other people. I'm panicking and I hate myself right now. I don't know what to do. Maybe I should take a break from dating because apparently I can't take a no. Like, there's something wrong with me. Always pushing my agenda on others. AITA.
I think this is a good evolution of many, many boundary discussions.
Oh,
What is a
yes.
boundary? What is a rule? This is a boundary, though. To maybe take this guy's side a little bit. It is a boundary, and it's a very understandable boundary. Early in a relationship, for instance.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you go on one date with someone or 2 dates with someone, and then you show up outside their front door or leave something on their front door, they might feel like you crossed into something.
Right.
And that's a valid reaction. Hey, you're coming in hot.
Totally. But, I think I don't really understand his boundary here. Like, she did tell him that she was going to stop by. I mean, he did say, no, don't. But I don't really understand like why he's like, don't ever show up to my house or say you're coming over. I was really caught off guard, but it was like, she did tell you that she was going to, like, she kind of warned you about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess like she did, go against his wishes per se. But I mean, it was such a nice thing that she did, like such a thoughtful thing.
Yeah, I mean,
and she didn't even see him. Like, she just dropped it off on the porch. Like, I don't get why he's mad about it.
something doesn't add up here. The math ain't mathing, folks. And I think this is a big thing. I forgot where I read this, but just this thing of like gut feelings and how many of us ignore our gut feelings. And that is the unconscious mind picking up on something that maybe your conscious mind doesn't understand, doesn't see yet. This makes me feel uncomfortable. It's like she didn't do anything wrong. She wasn't up to anything. She was bringing him a care package. I mean, I'm thinking of it just on a friendship level. Oh my God, if you did this for me, I would be like, thanks, Shannon. Like, that's so sweet of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not violating at all. I mean, usually when people set boundaries, it's because there's a good reason for it, some kind of reasoning. But like the boundary here, like the boundary of don't show up to my house unannounced, valid.
Right.
The boundary of a sick, a sick care package. Don't put a sick care package here. It's like she wasn't demanding anything of you. She was literally giving you stuff to make you feel better and like just throw it out if you don't want it. But like there's nothing to be mad at.
No, that's what makes me almost think like there's something shady going on with him.
I think so. The math just ain't math in here. We got this comment. Jesus, relax. Reddit makes people crazy with the stuff you should do. It was a simple and well-intentioned mistake, and one that should have been taken in the spirit it was given after 3 months together. I mean, I think that's very reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if anything, I think she's being a great little 3-month girlfriend there.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see if you went into his house while he wasn't there. Yeah. But his response is suspect. I've been dating my GF for over 3 months, and she has a key to my house and watches my dogs when I'm not there. It almost sounds as if he is hiding something.
Right. I think so.
I do too. I mean, somebody proposed that he has a second family. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I guess I could see maybe if like this was something that he had to deal with in his last relationship, and so he's just kind of trying to like nip it in the bud before, maybe his past partner was like boundaryless and going over and borrowing eggs from his house. Eating all his food.
I've got trauma from these neighbors. I never tasted an egg till I was 25 and away from them.
He's like, trying to get ahead of it per se. But I just think it's so, and her reaction of how upset she is with herself, like really has me thinking like the way he said something to her was even more intense and like gaslighty or like making her feel like a shitty person. Like the amount of self-hatred she was expressing.
right.
So over the top.
So over the top. I'm with you 100%. And having been involved with toxic people, I mean, this is the mark of it. It's you get confused, you blame yourself, quote, maybe I should take a break from dating because apparently I can't take a no. you start to lose your own sense of what is normal and what is appropriate when you're involved with one of these confusing individuals.
Yeah.
I think that to me is likely what's going on here. I mean, to just meet something that you said a little bit, like if maybe this was an issue that, like, you know, he had a previous girlfriend that had started with the care packages, but then she started showing up unannounced and wanting to be let in or whatever. But then I would be like, yeah, that's an explanation thing. Like, hey, I'm sorry, I went through this thing before, so I'm having an undue reaction to your kindness.
Right.
But I guarantee you this guy did not have the self-awareness to explain himself and call out the fact that, like, clearly she wasn't doing anything wrong.
No, not at all. And you would think, I mean, to me, this would be a huge red flag from him of just like, you would think, like the guy was saying, like, my girlfriend has the key to my apartment. Like, I don't know. It feels like a trust thing. If it's not that he has a whole other fucking family, it's that he doesn't trust her in some sort of way.
Yeah.
Or just should not be in a relationship.
Yeah, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up.
No.
AITA for crossing my boyfriend's boundaries. I think we agree on this one. NTA and he is.
Oh, total NTA. And please be kinder to yourself.
Truth.
We all do. We all should.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about, you know, I guess we were talking about, like, you have this compulsion to be super helpful to people, and I don't have that. I'm not helpful, but I do have a thing of, like, where, like, I'll doubt myself, you know, if somebody, like, if I was in this situation, like, I see a lot of myself in OP. And I think for me, the source of it, I was reflecting on this, it has been low self-esteem. And it's taken me a long time to be like, I'm proud of myself. Like, I'm a good person. I work on myself. Like, I'm disciplined.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to get here and be like, no, if I'm having issues with someone, like, it probably is on them. Like, I done the work over here. I know what's up.
Oh. So
I journaled, honey.
he's
I
a
journaled my
journaler.
way here, baby.
Oh, so you think anytime you have a conflict with someone, it was their
They're
fault?
wrong. It's their fault.
Yeah.
I've never been wrong. No, what I'm saying is when I'm in a situation with someone like this, where it's a pattern of conflicts that seem confusing and don't seem to resolve. I mean, look, you're going to have misunderstandings and conflicts with people. That's just life.
Yeah.
You know, but when it's like I get to a point where I'm starting to doubt myself and be like, oh, am I a bad person or am I unable to respect boundaries? It's like, no, this is something about the way this person is doing some sort of trickery. I mean, that to me is what this feels like. I mean, she didn't give any other examples, but I feel like there's going to be other things that are like, oh, you crossed the boundary. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought we agreed to meet up. And so I was just waiting outside to pick you up.
Yeah.
You know, oh, you crossed the boundary. It's like, no, I doubt it. I doubt you're a habitual boundary crosser. Because you know what? Habitual boundary crossers don't usually sit there in guilt and be like, I think I'm a habitual boundary crosser.
Right.
That's what people like you and me do.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, true.
Yeah.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're right. Because they don't have much self-awareness.
Exactly. Or they are aware and they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this next one is a doozy.
Oh my God, it's so long.
Let me-
Buckle in, kids.
Yeah, let me preface a little bit and say it is long, but I think it's worth it. It made
it's
me
juicy.
emotional.
Oh, it made you emotional, actually.
It's
Yeah,
sad.
there is some sad.
It is sad.
It is very
so
sad.
if you're not in a good mood, maybe just skip to the last situation.
But it's also very hot tea.
It's hot tea.
It's scalding.
And I won't say more, except I've been criticized a lot for, oh, Danny always takes the side of the kids. It's always the parents' fault. Well,
not today, honey.
listen in. AITA for accusing my daughter's boyfriend of stealing the turkey. We hosted Thanksgiving this year. My husband's mother is ill, and we're all at peace that this Thanksgiving and Christmas will probably be our last holidays together. It's been emotional and exhausting, but we really wanted to make a memorable day that everyone would enjoy. Our daughter Mary is visiting from college, and one day before she flew in, she says her boyfriend Chris is actually flying to our city to visit friends over the break. Mary asked if he could come over for Thanksgiving. Now, we'd never met Chris before, and to be honest, we're not wild about him. As soon as Mary started dating him, we just started seeing some worrisome changes in her. Our son confided in us that Mary is getting into the party scene, largely because of Chris. We've tried gently bringing up our concerns with Mary, but she shuts it down and has started to pull away. Because we didn't want to alienate her, we said Chris could visit, but they need to stay in separate rooms. She said that won't matter because he's booked a hotel room and she'll be staying there with him the whole weekend. Okay. Cut to Thanksgiving and Mary and Chris arrive. He's not the greatest. He makes a couple of rude and snide remarks throughout the visit and hits the alcohol way harder than is appropriate. My family was in a very earnest mood, lots of emotion, and he was just dismissive and flippant and cast a shadow on everything. At one point, everyone started telling stories about their favorite holidays at my mother-in-law's house when she would go all out for family parties. My husband and I stopped working in the kitchen to join the conversation. When we go back to the kitchen after maybe half an hour, I went to check the turkey in the oven, and it was gone. Completely missing. I asked my husband if he did something with the turkey, and he was just as confused as I was. We looked all over the kitchen and house and couldn't find it. We go out to the living room and ask everyone if they know what happened to the turkey, and no one knows what we're talking about. At this point, I realize Chris isn't around. I pull Mary to the side and ask where he is because I don't want to jump to conclusions and make accusations. She said he had to leave to go meet up with friends. I asked her to text him and ask if he knows what happened to the turkey, and Mary rolled her eyes. At this point, it's dawning on me that Chris probably stole the turkey and left out the back door while we were sharing stories with mother-in-law, but can't bring myself to actually make the accusation out loud. So we were left in the terrible position of having everything else ready, but no turkey. We had to break it to the family that we had no turkey, and everyone is confused and sad. Mary said she had to get going to an event with Chris, which deeply disappointed me. My in-laws went driving around to restaurants and grocery stores and pieced together enough stuff that we were able to have a meal much later than expected, but it just felt like the whole day was ruined. Everyone was kind of murmuring about Chris leaving around the time the turkey disappeared, but no one wanted to actually accuse him out loud because it's such an explosive allegation and there's no proof. I'm just confused why anyone would do such a thing and heartbroken because my mother-in-law didn't deserve this at all. At one point, she teared up but pulled it together. I'm also increasingly angry with my daughter, but I feel like I can't say anything because she'll just pull away more. AITA.
Oh, man.
Awful. I'm tearing up a little bit.
Asshole.
This guy.
Sorry to get to the verdict right away, but
I know, right? Yeah, I think to make a little light of it, I did enjoy, like, in a detached way, the idea of like, let's look around the house for the turkey. I don't know.
It walked away.
Did anybody? Yeah. Did somebody put the turkey in the coat closet? Okay, it's not in here. Maybe the garage. Did anybody look in the garage? Maybe the turkey took a ride on the motorcycles. Like,
yeah. I mean, God, if I was one of the family, like I like how they're so polite that they're like, we were murmuring, like, Chris left around the same. I would be like, that motherfucker took the fucking turkey.
Yeah, and I guess I didn't know how to analyze that because it just feels like he obviously took it. I think what hurts me the most about this is, well, first of all, that, you know, this is like the last meal of the mother-in-law. This is her last Thanksgiving. And also I see a mom who cares so much about her daughter, but like doesn't really know how to get through. And so she's like walking this tightrope with her because she can sense and see, people, I'm admitting it. A child is not always right. And I sense in this dynamic that this girl is getting involved with someone who is very noxious and toxic. And the mother is afraid that if she goes too hard, she doesn't seduce to ask, which we were talking about, that her daughter will just piece the fuck out.
Absolutely. I mean, it happens all the time. And I think a lot of like moms, oh, he's tearing up.
I am.
Moms and dads have to be a little bit more considerate or walking on eggshells when they are, you know, criticizing their child's significant other.
Yes.
Because that can very much cause a huge barrier between the two of them. I think like siblings can kind of more so talk.
Ooh, yeah.
And friends too. But you definitely, I feel like there's a weird thing with parents specifically because I think children do get very defensive of their partner, end up a lot of times choosing their side.
Yep.
You don't know anything, mom and dad, you know, having that sort of attitude, that like teenage adolescent attitude, even when they're older, of like, you don't know what you're talking about. So it is a very fine line, and you're right, like what you were picking up there, I think.
How old do we get the age on Mary? She's visiting from college. Yeah. And I mean, this is, you know, even though she is older than an adolescent, I think college is when you start to flirt with being a real independent adult. It's kind of like the sort of, you know, crossfade into that. You know, yeah, I use a DJ term. That's what came to mind. You know, into true adulthood. And yeah, I think this is a really fucking tough situation for the parents. And this is just like such a heinous thing on this person's like, and here's the other thing I was thinking about, because part of me went like, it's just a fucking turkey. Who cares? But the thing is, I don't actually think it's about the turkey. It's about the feeling of violation.
Oh my God, yeah.
And the fact that I think everyone picked up on her, you know, like picked up on mom not throwing the accusation. And so everyone was in this like weird thing of like this emotion that couldn't come out.
Yeah.
But like everybody wanted to fucking say it. And honestly, like situations like this, like if the dad punched Chris in the fucking mouth, I would be like, that's what happens, Chris.
Yeah.
I couldn't call him an asshole, because this was just so heartless.
No, to open up your home to somebody, like feed them. And I mean, I guess well, yeah, he did get fed. He took the whole fucking turkey. He probably took the turkey to the party he was going to. Either that or he like threw it in the
out
trash.
The
like
yeah,
a
exactly.
Goddamn
Like
asshole.
Fucking.
But yeah, I would just feel so violated. And also the fact that it is her last holiday, or one of her last holidays. And sort of what I was talking about earlier, of just like the feeling so nostalgic and like telling so many stories about your past. And like this was a moment for them of coming together, and they all knew the significance of this moment. And the fact that he was just being so flippant and not acknowledging it, you know, and cast a shadow over everything. And then, so not only is that your attitude throughout the entire night, but then you steal from them and you steal. It's not like you're just stealing anything, like you're stealing the moment as well.
Yes, I love that. Yes, you stole the fucking moment.
Yeah, because you stole the dinner. I mean, yes, they can eat the sides, and you know, I'm usually like the sides better than the main dish anyway, but I'm sure but it sounds like to me they didn't even have enough food to make a whole meal, so they had to literally run out, waste their time, and then have a late dinner. Like, for what? For what? Why the fuck would you do that to your girlfriend who you supposedly care about, family?
Because this is an individual. I mean, ever since you told me about the party scene, which I was laughing really hard, because I didn't realize there was a party scene. I guess I like, because it's like there's a comedy scene, that's comedians and they do comedy, and there's a music scene, those people do music. But then the idea, well, the party people, they just get fucked up. They just do coke over there. And I mean, these people are obviously, I mean, look, I think that's my like chief criticism of like drugs and alcohol, which is like, you know, in moderation. I recognize alcohol or whatever, drugs. I mean, it's a drug. But I think it can blunt people to their emotions, you know, and to their feelings, and to feeling empathy. And I had this thought that, oh God, this is an ugly one, but I just know mom felt this. Mm-hmm. She let Chris into the party, and so she also felt guilty and stupid. She felt stupid.
She felt responsible.
And so I'm sure she blamed herself about it. And it's just such a tightrope, because you can imagine if she had said, no, You can't bring Chris. Then that might have been right there. And then she would have dealt with feeling like, oh, now my daughter hates me.
Yeah, she was definitely stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Ugh.
And I think also the fact that, I mean, look, obviously her husband allowed this too. It's not just all on her, but also the fact that it's like her mother-in-law. There's sometimes a little bit more pressure when it's like your mother-in-law instead of your mom.
Yeah.
So then you feel even more like, oh shit, I ruined it.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some of the comments.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, the turkey was almost ready. Wouldn't have been super hot and difficult to carry.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't formally said anything, because it doesn't make sense how he could steal a hot turkey. I strongly suspect Chris stole it, but it's such a cruel and strange thing to do, and the logistics of it don't make sense. Could it be a neighbor? Someone writes. I don't have any reason to think a neighbor did this. Also, Chris disappeared right when the turkey did. Update from 8 hours later. I was talking with my son today, and he told me that last night Chris started taunting him over text about the missing turkey. So that settles it.
Oh, wow.
Chris stole the turkey as a big fuck you to all of us.
For what?
My son didn't say anything at the time because he didn't want to make people more upset than they already were. One of my husband's siblings is very mad at us for how things turned out and how mother-in-law was disrespected. Sibling is not talking with us right now. I've tried calling and texting Mary, but she's ignoring me. That's all I have to say about this.
Oh my God.
Now, I know this is a tough situation. But like, I do think this is like something that we've kind of talked about, but this whole husband sibling being mad at her, it's like,
yeah,
this is that thing I was kind of like trying to say of like, when you take sides in a conflict, sometimes you can start to like really cause problems. And obviously in this case, it's exactly like, okay, like I guess it is technically the mom's responsibility or the mom and dad's responsibility, but like, they're trying their fucking best. Like, it's taking some time to understand that, yes, they did allow Chris to come, but it was a complex rock and a hard place.
No, it was going to happen.
No.
It's unfair to be mad at them. Like, why don't you all just find the common enemy? We all know who that is. And let's just be mad at him. Why are you mad at us? And like, and I know when, holidays, a lot of times you do have to do it on the holiday, but like, why couldn't they all just get together the next night and be like, let's try this again?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I mean, I think, oh God. And like, on the other hand, I like, even though I am mad at husband siblings, I can understand how this basically sowed emotional chaos. And not everybody is like super like monk mode on reining that shit the fuck in and being like, no, we should all be mad at Chris, or like doing something that you said, which is like so reasonable. Like, guys, look, we all have the time. We're all here.
Yeah.
Let's reconvene and make this happen.
You go for a whole weekend, like a long weekend for Thanksgiving. So it's like, let's just redo.
I mean, that's the thing about a motherfucker like Chris. These guys come in and, even the son. The son didn't know. He was emotionally confused, right? Because he should have just been like, Chris admitted to stealing the turkey, but he was getting taunted and fucked with. And he was like, I don't know if that'll make things worse. I don't know what to do. And like, they sow emotional chaos, which is now just in this family. And now people are like, attacking each other.
Yeah.
Ugh. All right. We got another update 1 year later. Hi, everyone. This incident has been on my family's mind this week, and my son encouraged me to write an update. Last year, I hoped to talk with Mary in person about what Chris did, but she blew me off and didn't visit home for the rest of Thanksgiving weekend. We spoke briefly on the phone a few days later, but she denied that Chris stole our turkey, even though Chris taunted my son about it, basically admitting that he did. Unfortunately, my mother-in-law passed away about 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. The ripple effects were profound.
Oh.
Our family expected her to live through Christmas, so it was difficult to lose what we thought would be her last holiday. And it was even more bitter that the Thanksgiving that was her actual last holiday was ruined by Chris and his incomprehensible theft. From there, it got worse. Mary flew in for my mother-in-law's funeral and mentioned that Chris might travel with her to see a concert in her city. We made it clear he was not welcome in our home or at the funeral. He ultimately stayed at their college, but on the day of the visitation, a bomb threat was made against the funeral home, and we all had to evacuate while the police conducted a search. The police were never able to prove it, but I strongly suspect Chris made the threat.
Wow.
My mother-in-law's visitation was cut significantly short, and she was denied a dignified end. Some people who wanted to pay their respects ultimately could not because of the evacuation. One of my husband's siblings has gone no contact with us because they blame my husband and I for ruining the end of my mother-in-law's life by inviting Chris to Thanksgiving last year. Mary doesn't take any responsibility for how her relationship with Chris has damaged our family. We have mutually decided to go no contact. My son has minimal contact with Mary and follows her on social media. Apparently, Mary and Chris are still together. I honestly only wanted to read that part just because it did seem so over the top, and it does give me hope that it's fake because I don't want to believe in Chris. I don't want to believe in Chris.
Which part
there is no
seems fake,
devil.
the bomb threat?
I'm like, why though? Why would you even do that? That doesn't even affect the turkey. I understand because I'm like, you're maybe drunk and you're impulsive and you don't care. But the bomb threat, I'm like, now you're going out of your way to fuck with people.
I mean, this is just an evil, evil human being if this is the case.
I do think though that it's plausible. I honestly hope it's fake. I don't want to believe in Chris, but I thought there was something interesting about the incomprehensible theft. And I guess to me, going back to this drug and alcohol thread, which I think is probably a mark of Chris's life, incomprehensible comes to mind because, the drug addict's relationship, or maybe not even going all the way to addict, but the chronic user, they worship. They worship. Like I've had this thought, they call it Catholicism, right? Alcoholism. I think that's a component of how alcohol is treated in society. It's worshipped.
Oh, you mean people drinking is worship?
Alcoholism is a disease, sure, but also it's the belief that alcohol is what matters and what's important, I mean, think about it. Like we literally say, let's drink.
Yeah.
It's like, drink? You mean water? The thing
Right.
we need? No, not that. What?
I think they also say that like alcoholism shows up in different ways in your life too. I guess it's just addiction, but I don't know, the way that at least my friends that are in AA are like, well, that's my alcoholism talking, when it's like different things too. I don't know.
Of course. I mean, I think it affects, like I said, I think that it has like an emotionally blunting effect. You're less able to reflect and feel what you need to feel because you're just waiting for your next drink of alcohol. You don't necessarily need to be drunk all day, though. Obviously, that makes it much worse. I mean, look, I think even like having a hangover, person with a hangover is not going to be in a state of reflection.
No.
They are in a state of ouchie. I don't like this.
Yeah.
And they're very
Can't tolerate much.
Right? And like a drunk person is honestly worse than a hungover person, but like a hungover person is not like a fully empathetic, present person.
Yeah, you're kind of only thinking of getting healthy and like, you know, your own comfort.
Right. Or drinking again.
True. Hair of the dog.
Anyway,
I don't think it's fair though that like the siblings are going no contact and they're blaming them for ruining the end of the mother-in-law's life. Like that to me kind of is the whole like, oh, you ruined my whole wedding day. It's like exaggerating quite a lot. Like, okay, maybe the holiday was ruined, but like the end of her life. And now you're not going to speak to us anymore.
Awful.
It's so over the top.
It's so over the top. I mean, it's some people operate this way. They are in a lot of pain, and they're, you know, I guess, you know, some people are very vulnerable to someone like Chris showing emotional confusion, and then they don't know where to direct their emotions.
Yeah, and
or
they're
how
like,
to
well, I
process.
can't really be mad at this guy that I don't even know. He doesn't even care that I'm mad at him. It's like I need my like anger to be affecting somebody.
100%. I think you're spot on. That's what anger is. You want to seize control.
Yes.
But you're right. They can't control Chris. He's like an unknown, you know, he's like a phantom.
He doesn't care.
Well, I hope those of you who went with us on that journey, I know it was sad, but I guess it was an interesting one nonetheless. Obviously, AITA. I think we're going. I think it's impressive how Chris did just steal a turkey and make a call, and the amount I hate him is he's in the top 5 most hateable OPs ever. I mean,
and the amount of the ripple effect that happened from and I mean, God, I really hope she gets out of this relationship. It's really sad that she's also now no contact with her family. I mean, she's choosing this monster over her family. And I mean, hey, she could be a victim in all of this. Like, who knows? He could. I mean, he sounds like he is probably fucking abusive.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the other thing too. You start drinking with someone, you're drinking buddies, and that relationship is defined by the substance, it makes you much more vulnerable to someone exploiting you, but also you're not very aware of your own emotions and feelings because you're kind of fucked up.
Yeah, especially in college. Because I feel like a lot of times when you're in college, the partners you're choosing are not exactly like you're only thinking like, are they fun? Are they funny? I don't remember ever thinking like or caring if they are. I mean, of course, I wanted them always to be kind to me and treat me well, but I don't ever thinking like, oh, do they have motivation? Do they have a good relationship with their family? Like, do they have goals? Are they gonna take care of me? Like, I wasn't ever thinking of things like that. It was just like, let's get fucked up and have a good time.
I think that does align with the prefrontal cortex, which I think they say develops fully at 25. And that cortex is always like, yeah, but where this going? Yeah. And you're like, what? No, I don't want to think about that. And it's like, nah, it's going to matter though.
I know. I feel like adulthood should really go to 20, like 25 should be the time. And it should be like high school goes until that point.
Yeah. Move the drinking age to 25.
Yeah.
We become the most hated podcast ever.
And the adult age too.
Yeah.
Legal age. And then maybe that's when people should start college. Like, let's just move it all back.
For sure, you should not be able to join the military when you're 18. I think that's a 25-er. This rental car is 25, so there's a precedent there. 25. Yeah. The rental car people know. They're like, we're not trusting you with a fucking car.
But do they really want 25 plus year old? I mean, I guess at 25, you're still quite young, but I think they want them at 18 because they want them like super fit and can run and be agile and stuff in the Army.
No, you would no. A 25-year-old
You're still doing that?
No, peak physical fitness is probably 25.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My knee started going at 24.
Really?
Yeah.
I think mid-20s is peak, but I could be wrong about that.
It's
anyway,
been on my to-do list to take care of for 8 years now.
Your knees?
Yeah, like go to physical therapy.
Well, hopefully you'll get down the list. Anyway, guys, please rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. All right, take us out on a lighter note, Shanny.
AITA for refusing to help my girlfriend grade papers. This is being prompted from a text where I was again being told we have a lot of papers to get through this weekend. My girlfriend and I have been together for a few years now, and she's a teacher at a local school. I work from home for a tech company and have a flexible schedule, which allows me to do more of the household chores. I make a great salary and I'm specialized, so I also pay the majority of the bills. Recently, my girlfriend has been asking me to help her grade papers after she comes home from work or on weekends. I understand that being a teacher can be a tough job, but I'm starting to feel like it's becoming an expectation for me to help her with her work. I'm already doing my full-time job and the majority of the household chores, so taking on her work has gotten old fast. I've tried to explain to her that I have my own work to do and that I need my free time to recharge and take care of my own responsibilities. But she keeps insisting that I help her, saying that it's just a few papers or that it won't take long. Well, it does take long. She already spends all weekend with the work unless I help, which gives us both Sundays off. I'm starting to feel resentful and like my time and effort are not being valued. I already do a lot to contribute to our household, and I feel like helping her with her work is not my responsibility. I love and support her, but I also need to prioritize my own well-being. I have been starting to think it's time to take a break from one another just so I can live a little bit, but I don't think she can afford to live on her own income alone, and I honestly really do love her. AITA?
Wow. We went from the boyfriend who got a boundary about just about everything
to a boyfriend that's not setting good enough boundaries.
Pretty much. I guess, I mean, I do want to say, look, I think teachers are chronically underpaid and overworked.
Yeah.
So I do feel for her. I mean, this doesn't seem fair at all.
No, I mean, it totally sucks that they have to spend their time that they're literally not getting paid for grading papers. Like, I remember even as a kid, like my 6th grade teacher oftentimes being like, oh, sorry guys, like I didn't get to the papers again. And Or like, oh yeah, I was grading papers all weekend. I was like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
That you have to like spend your weekends, or like that you weren't able to get to it because like you were doing something you wanted to do, which you should be able to do that.
Right.
So yeah, but all that to say,
Yeah, I feel like I've tried to, OP writes, I've tried to explain to her that I have my own work to do and that I need my free time to recharge and take care of my own responsibility, but she keeps insisting that I help her. I think, you know, this is kind of going into a discussion we were having on the bonus where it's like, you know, when you get into a position where you have to be super firm with someone, you know, it starts off soft, right? Like it can be kind of brutal. Just be like, no, I'm not helping you. Right. So I feel like he kind of took the soft route and he's like, yeah, I need my own time. But like he just doesn't want to have that firm, like, this is your job. I'm not doing this for you.
yeah.
And I'm not saying like he's doing something wrong, but I'm just saying she's putting him in a position where he's going to say something probably like that's going to hurt her feelings, but it's like, well, you're not reading the room, ma'am.
Yeah, and he's told you at least once that he needs his own free time to recharge and stuff, and you're just like insisting like, no, like you need help.
It's just a few.
Well, it's not. He's saying it's taking a long time, and you should also know that too.
And it's also like, I don't care if it's a few. It's still her job. It's like you need to recognize, like, you know, yeah, it's just not his job. I mean, even this thing about the chores, of him doing the majority of the chores, you know, because he has more time or whatever, like, I think that that's kind of playing a dangerous game in a couple as well, where it's like, you know, if that's the agreement, that's the agreement. But like, I don't know the logic there. Like, for instance, like I'm so fortunate, like I don't have a extremely strenuous job. Like I don't have to go into work or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like if my partner did, they had to go to work and then they're like, well, yeah, I have to go to work. So therefore you have to do more of the housework. I would be like, how about no, I'm definitely not making that deal.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, he said that he pays most of the bills as well. So this does seem like kind of a little bit of an imbalance happening. It's one thing if that's what you agreed.
Right.
But then you're also having him do your work too.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like this is going to be, I feel like it sounds like this girl is like not in a sustainable situation of some kind. Like, and I don't know what it is with a teacher. It's just so hard to say anything bad. Cause like, you know, that's a job where like, yeah, it's just more work than you're getting paid for. Like, it's not a good deal.
I know. I'm wondering if any of you guys are teachers out there. I'm curious, like what the, because I know teachers usually stay longer than when school is out. Like that's usually their time to like, I think, catch up on things. And I feel like they're usually there until like 5. It's more like a 9 to 5 instead of like, or probably even more because school usually starts earlier than that. But yeah, I'm like curious, like, is that not your time to get that stuff done?
Yeah. I mean, and then maybe she's like wanting to come home and it's like, I mean, there's just no way to spin this where I can feel like to be a teacher in many states, I feel is to be a victim. So like, I feel for her.
And I mean, dealing with kids all day, exhausting.
I mean, that's big brain America, where America doesn't have a prefrontal cortex because we're like, we don't need like kids to be educated. I mean, why would that be a priority? We could have jets. Are you serious?
That's right.
You know, so it's whack. Nonetheless, unfortunately, I don't think there's any way. I don't think that it's his fault that society sucks around him and that's stressing out his girlfriend, because I do feel like she does need to rein it in. Ultimately, it is the career that she chose and he's expressing herself. He's kind of, you know, she's kind of ignoring him and saying like, do it anyway.
And the fact that he's kind of at the end there being like, I feel like, it feels like to me he is at the end of his rope because of potentially asking multiple times, because he's like, honestly, I feel like maybe we need to spend some time apart. Like he's already at that place Because I was going to be like, well, why don't you talk to her? Well, he said he already did.
He already did.
And it sucks because he loves her and it seems like they have a good thing going otherwise. But it's like maybe you have to like seriously try to put your foot down, like if you haven't before, and even be like, look, like I'm having these thoughts that I think maybe like we need to spend time apart. That's how desperate I am that I feel like I need my own time back to myself.
I've been in this position and it's the ultimate communication. And if that doesn't get them to see straight, right? Because what are you really communicating? I want less of you. The way you're treating me is so poor. I want less of you around. You know, it's because you already use words to say what you felt, but those weren't being heard. And so what do? You ask for space. And I think that is a sign that something's not here. Now, I am hopeful. I feel like maybe she might finally fucking snap out of this and realize like, no, what I'm doing is unfair. Like, but I don't know. Unfortunately, I hate to come for a teacher, but AITA for refusing to help my girlfriend grade papers.
NTA,
and she is.
Definitely.
We're pro teachers here, but
we are. And I mean, God, just reading this where it says like she already spends all weekend with the work unless he helps and they both have Sundays off. That means she's grading papers all Saturday and Sunday.
Awful.
Maybe start just giving them multiple choice papers.
Have the kids grade each other. Find a system. I don't know. I don't know the answers. Yeah, I mean that's the thing too, where it's like this is obviously like wrong. I mean, I'm joking. I don't really think kids can grade each other's papers, and I do feel like the job of a teacher, a good teacher, is a very involved job. It's a tough job because you care about the kids, and that's who we want to teach the kids, and they should be compensated for that. You know, and have other resources like teachers' assistants to grade papers so that they can focus on maximizing the impact, you know, but.
Yeah, I mean, this should not be taking 2 whole other days of work. Then you don't have any days off.
Miserable.
Terrible.
This is how you get Chris's with this education system.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, that is the app. Thank you so much for listening. Much love to all y'all, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.